The list view in Unreal Engine is a thing. It can be really useful, but it's also a little counterintuitive as to how to use it. One of its really cool things is that it also comes with a tree viewer, but I personally, gonna go out and say it, don't really love the way that it works by default, so I'd rather make my own tree view, but it is there if you want to use it. So we have 3 different list views. The normal list view I actually do find to be quite useful. The tile view might as well exist as well. This is still pretty good for things like inventories. It's kind of like a wrap box, but with some more like automated filling in of its contents. And then we have the tree view, which we'll talk about last because it's a little goofy in the way that it works. So how do we set up any of these list views? Well, for that we first need a widget that we're going to use to populate it. Unlike things like the vertical boxes and horizontal boxes and wrap boxes and all that kind of stuff where you can just put in different widgets, what you do here is you put in different objects, whether that be assets or actors or whatever, and those will be represented by a specific type of widget. So let's go ahead and make our user interface widget blueprint here, and this will be our WPB list item. And for this list item, what we'll do is I will make this a horizontal box, which will take in a image, I think. We'll put it in there. Let's also set this to be desired on screen, or just desired. And then I'll put in a text as well for the name of whatever this item is going to be. Let's pretend like we have an inventory system, right? And then we also have a text for the amount. And there's going to be a little bit of padding between those, obviously. So to the left, let's like 15, 20 units of padding. This text block, we're just going to set to a X. And then one more text block after that, and that's going to just have like 5 units of padding or something like that. And that will be the actual like name, so or amount. So this will be the amount. The text block will be the item name, and obviously the image will be the item icon. So we can set this up in the event graph. On pre-construct the item icon, we'll set that to brush from a texture. The texture will be promoted to a variable that we're going to set to expose on spawn and instance editable. And then the item name I also need to make variable. One little thing that you can maybe see here is when you create one of these and you set it to variable, it'll actually be bolded text, and everything that's not variable is not bolded text. So that's a nice little thing to easily see what is variable and what is not. But we will set the text for this as well. We'll just make that a variable for the name. And then we make the amount, set that to something as well. So set text. But for this, we're going to do int to text. And we'll make the integer a variable instead. And for both of those variables, instance editable, and also expose them on spawn. In our case though, expose on spawn actually isn't required at all because the list view is going to be spawning these things in, so we never actually see the spawn in node for these. Now, how do we get this widget into our list view? Because we can scroll down here and that says our entry widget class, and we have nothing to pick. And that is because that only shows widgets with a certain interface implemented. So to implement an interface, we can go into the class settings of our list item widget blueprint, go into the implemented interface and add the user object list entry interface. That will allow us to add a couple of different things here in our interface functions. So we have on entry released, on item expansion changed, on item selection changed. The item expansion change is mostly what the tree view works with. Again, I don't personally love it, but it's a thing that you can do. But in our case, the thing that we really care about is on list item set. So instead of doing this on pre-construct, what we do is we get our list item object. This can be any sort of object that we put into it. In our case, if we're doing this with an inventory system and that inventory system runs off of data assets, which if you want a data asset based inventory system, I have an entire course for that. That's what's going to supply these values in instead. So we don't actually even need these as variables necessarily. So let's actually just remove these as variables and make a data asset for this. So we make a blueprint class and we look for data assets, primary data asset. You can make this as a basic U object as well. It kind of depends on exactly what you want to populate this with and what system you want this to integrate with whatever you've coded up yourself. This will take in literally any U object you want. So any asset, any actor, any component, anything in the entire game, in your entire project, can be used as an input here. We'll call this DA item, and that's then going to have those same values, right? So it's going to have an icon, which is going to be a texture. Let's scroll down here. We'll surely find the texture 2D. Object reference, going to be exposing that. We'll make a name. It's going to be a text because it needs to be translatable. And in this case, obviously, if you have an inventory system using data assets, again, check out my playlist for that if you're interested. You wouldn't have the amount of items that you have of a certain thing on the data asset itself. You would have that on like a inventory slot type of struct for an array. In this case, we're just going to example count in this thing right here. And that's going to be a integer. Again, this is not representative of how you'd make an inventory system necessarily, but as an example to show you how list views works, it'll have to do. Then we can make in our miscellaneous a data asset of our type DA item. So we'll call this item 1 or just item, and we'll give that an icon. So that's going to be like this one. The name will be item 1 and the example count will be 75, just as something to show up. We'll make item 2 as well, and then item 3, which will give different names and different icons and different counts, just to show you how everything works. So count for this will be 332, because that's where my fingers were at. And then this one will have like the Unreal Engine logo. It'll be called item 3, and it'll have 123 as its count. So now that we have that asset class, that object, this list item object is going to be a generic object, so we still need to cast it to our data asset item. But then we can get the icon out of that, and we can get the name out of that, and we can get the example count out of that, and we can supply that in to all of these. And now, whenever the list adds in a item, so the items that we're going to be adding in will be the data assets. It won't be these widgets. We'll be adding in these data assets, and whenever it adds in one of these data assets, it's going to be creating a widget and supplying in a reference to the asset that we are adding to the list, and we'll make this widget with the corresponding data. So going back into our HUD, we have our list view here. We can now try to do our entry widget class again, and since we implemented that interface, it now shows you that thing. Now, it has a number of preview entries. If we actually go into the game, it doesn't have those anymore. And I had some leftover code here, apparently. Oh, yeah, it doesn't compile as long as one of these things doesn't have an entry widget class. So let's just make entry widget classes for all of them. And as you can see, obviously, this tile view, well, puts them into effectively what is a wrap box, right? And this tree view will also allow you to expand these to like show more data for them or whatever. I'll get back to the tree view in a moment. But as you can see, if we now actually play the game, it doesn't show anything because those 5 little things that it adds here are just for preview purposes. What we need to do is we need to go into here, and I'll add a event construct, and I'll get my list view, and I can add an item to that list view. And that item can be pretty much anything in the entire project, obviously. But we know that for this list view, what we are trying to get in is our item data assets. So let's add in item 1, and then also item 2 and item number 3. So we're adding in these assets to this list, and then the list, again, will make those widgets and provide in those assets to those widgets to do with as they need to do. And then we can see we make this item 1, we have 75 of, whatever, right? So this list view is now showing a view of a list. The list view itself has some built-in padding with either horizontal or vertical spacing. So I can set the vertical spacing to like 5 or maybe like more like 15. And then it will space them out automatically here with the vertical spacing. Obviously for the tile view, the horizontal spacing also comes into account. So if we look at where that is again, I always lose where this is kept, because you can just look it up like this with spacing. We can give these 25 units of spacing, both horizontal and vertical, which will just give them the spacing as you need. Obviously, this tile view is mostly for things that are actually like square shaped and not these like list entries that I made for it. But that is the list and tile view. Tile view just works the exact same way as this list view would, but it just displays them as tiles. Now, we have this tree view, which is slightly different, because we can just add the items to the tree view if we wanted to. Like, that's not a problem at all. Like, that just works, and it will show them in the tree view. Let's make a little bit of room for the tree view, actually, just so that you can see it expand as we go. So there's one over the right here now is the tree view. The tree view also has a function on it to expand a given item. So we can expand all very easily, but we can also set item expansion for a specific item, which takes in a specific item, which again is just any object in your project effectively, and that's whether or not it is expanded at that time. So what we might want to do is have a tree viewer widget that itself has a button in it that can toggle its own expansion, report that back to the parent widget, and then the parent widget can expand or collapse that tree view entry. You kind of see why I'm not a huge fan of the way that this works, because in my opinion it's a little bit convoluted making the tree view work. For list views, I actually quite like the way that this works, because you can just give in a data asset or whatever and put that into a like widget format and everything will be taken care of. The tree view is a little bit convoluted, but it is easier than setting up your entire own custom solution for it still. So let's make a variation of our list item here and call that something like WBP tree item. And the most important difference for that one is we're just going to add in a button at the very beginning here. So that's just going to be a toggleable button. Whenever we press that button, what you can do is you can get a list of all items. So get list items, which is just a object reference array, which we will for each loop over. And this is where we get into why this is such a pain, because we're going to do this all based on the items. We're not going to drive this with the widgets, we're going to drive this with the objects in the lists, because it is a massive pain in the ass to actually get a list that is accurate of the widgets that this tree view has inside of it. So what we do instead is we have our item list, which is our data assets. That's these three things, instances of this class. This is going to be the thing that we tell to expand and unexpand, and that's going to be the thing that we like listen to. So on our data assets, we're going to add an event dispatcher for expand, and we'll add in a variable for expanded here as well. Obviously, this makes a lot more sense if you're doing this with like just a basic U object and you're instancing those instead of using these assets. Again, you probably need to make an inventory system where your inventory slots are U objects, and then you give in that entire U object, and you would have this expansion and this expanded variable on those objects instead of on the actual data assets that we're working with. But I'm just giving you a rough example here, not an actual implementation of an inventory system. Either way, this expanded event dispatcher that we have here is going to send through a reference to the item itself. So the item, it'll be a data assets item, object reference, and then whether or not it is new expanded state. So new expanded state, which will be a boolean. We're going to do that through a custom event here, which will be expand state or whatever. I don't know why I can't just call it expand. Oh, because I already have an event dispatcher called that. That makes sense. And that's just going to set first and foremost, our expanded value to being the opposite of what it is now. So we get it, we set a not boolean, and then we set the value of that. And that's going to give in our new expanded, and the item is just going to be a reference to self. Now, back in our tree item, when we press that button we just added, this button over here, when we click that, and we make sure that we have that variable to it. This might have been added between cuts, so I'm making sure that we're highlighting it here. We make a variable for our data asset for the item, so that we always have something to keep track of there. And now we can always adjust, call the expand state. So, in short, this widget sends a signal to the item that it represents, and then that item sends a signal back to the actual tree view to do something with it. Can you tell why I don't like this default tree view implementation yet? Because it is really convoluted. Anyway, now that we have that, we can assign, or well, rather we can first cast to the data asset item, and then we can assign on expanded, and then we can finally get our tree view here, and then we can expand set item expansion for this item with its new expansion. And then in the tree viewer, what I did here is I just added in a vertical box below all of this with a couple of text blocks, just as a bit of garbage data that we can expand and unexpand. So how do we actually do that? Because now we have something to drive the signal back and forth on whether we should be expanded or collapsed or whatever. Now we need to actually implement what that means. So if we go back into our interfaces on the tree item, we can set on item expansion changed, and there we can then implement whatever that means. In this case, that will be our vertical box. Make sure that it's set to being a variable in your designer, and we can just set the visibility here, and we can do that based on a select from bool. If it is true, it's going to be visible. If it is not true, we're going to set this to being collapsed. Collapse is a really useful visibility option for your widgets, because it will make them invisible and also make them not take up any more like space in your widget. So it actually like collapses them. For things like this tree viewer, obviously quite useful. So now that we have that, we can press on this and we can expand and unexpand our tree view stuff. And obviously you could set this stuff to actually like display like more item data, like having a description of your item or whatever. You can do whatever you want with this. That's how the default tree viewer works. If you want to use it for simple stuff, like just having a bit of extra data that you just collapse and uncollapse, I suppose it kind of works, but frankly, just implementing this as functionality of this item viewer and just making this part of a list works much better. If you really want to use it, there you go. That's how it works, but I don't think I can recommend in most cases to rely on the tree viewer like list view that Unreal gives you. It's probably better to just mess around a little bit and build your own. The list viewer, however, is fantastic. List and tile view, I have nothing against. Tree view is Satan's work. And a very big thank you to all my Patreons. You can see them on screen right now. If you want to help support the channel or get any of the project files in any of my tutorials, there's a link down below to the Patreon page to support me, or alternatively as a YouTube member. And a huge thank you to my Cave Big Brain tier supporters, which care more for coding than impulse control: Earl, Monserville, Erno, my Cave Student tier supporters, Oiku, and my Cave Digger tier supporters, Mauricio Farias.